Welcome back to another episode of the Cruise Conversations podcast. I'm Frank.
And I'm Michael.
And today's episode is episode number 76. And today we're talking through Carnival's Celebration Key. Let's jump into it. Well, welcome back from Thanksgiving holiday. We are on the other side of Thanksgiving, which means now I feel like everything that's not urgent at work, you just tell them, you wait till next year. Yeah, I mean, this is it. And this is a weird year, right? Because it's like a later Thanksgiving, so we only have, 3 or so weeks until Christmas. So it just feels like very condensed. But thank you to everyone for just reaching out about different deals going on through Black Friday, and for a lot of people calling us and saying, hey, we want to look at cruises, we want to talk about add-ons and things. So thank you for doing that. And yeah, the Black Friday deals are really, really good this year. So I know we booked our drink packages on Royal and some other things. So lots of good deals, and a lot of good deals continuing on. But before we get into our topic for today for Celebration Key, we do have some cruise news. So I'll start with our first one, which is really around San Juan, Puerto Rico. So I don't know if you've heard, Michael, I guess back earlier this year, one of the MSC ships damaged the dock. I believe it's Pier 3 West in San Juan. So a lot of the larger ships, so this is really impacting a lot of my clients that are sailing on Symphony of the Seas, Oasis of the Seas. If you're going to San Juan next year, it's just a little uncertain right now. So there was some sort of a ship that, it damaged the dock, and we don't really have a timeline quite yet, but we are starting to hear that they're evaluating the damage and they're trying to get some people in there to repair the dock, but then it has to be cleared. And so there's a lot of steps that need to happen. And so a lot of those ships now are diverting to other ports, whether it's private islands or other destinations in the Caribbean. But it's definitely a bummer if you're really looking forward to it, because it is such a great destination. I love when I get to book a cruise and it's going to Puerto Rico. It's just one of the coolest ports. You can get off and just enjoy such a beautiful, town of Old San Juan. There's forts, there's great food, restaurants, shopping, but just definitely something in the news that we'll have to keep an eye on, Michael, just as we're booking and talking with clients, but then also just listeners that are planning future cruises. We'll kind of keep everyone in the loop on, the timeline around the San Juan port and when we know it'll be back running again.
Yeah, Frank, that's a good point. Like you said, San Juan's one of my favorite places to stop too. I mean, hopefully it's not too long into the new year. Hopefully by summertime at least it's back up and running. I have no clue how long it takes to fix something like that and get it cleared. But yeah, I saw that too in the news this week when I saw some of the Royal ships had to divert to some different islands. And like I said, it definitely stinks, but hopefully sometime soon we'll get ships back out there. Now, speaking of other ships kind of getting some sailings disrupted, last week we talked about Norwegian and how they had canceled 40-plus cruises from November of 2025 to April of 2026. And I think at the time we talked about 3 different ships. I guess it ended up being 4 different ships that they pretty much just canceled all the seasons, right? I think one was doing a South America, one may have been doing Asia, yeah. But they had announced that these sailings were canceled, but hadn't announced really what was happening yet. So over the last week, we have heard that all 3 are now coming back to the U.S. to sail from over here. So I think 3 of them are going down to the Caribbean and doing all different Caribbean itineraries, and one's going over to the West Coast and doing the Mexican Riviera and just some other sailings on the West Coast. So a little bit odd. I mean, neither one of us know too much about Norwegian, when it comes to just what ships or where. I don't follow them as much. So I don't know. Interesting. You're bringing 3 that you had in other places around the world all back to the U.S. But maybe they just feel like their U.S. market's booming right now.
Yeah.
It could be that. Who knows?
That's a good point.
Now, as far as other ships moving, we also have heard that the Norwegian Prima, which is currently sailing from Galveston, is going to be moving to New Orleans in the late winter of 2026. And, we've had, when Jeremy's come on the podcast in the past, he's kind of talked about his time.
I think he said this is one of his favorite ships, right?
I know, yeah. We have to see how he feels about this ship moving. But it's going to, like I said, going to New Orleans, still doing 7-night sailings, going to be hitting up places like Mexico, Honduras, and Harvest Cay.
Yeah, so that's really good for some cruise news updates this week. It was kind of a slower week in the cruise news world because Thanksgiving, a lot of people don't even work around this.
Honestly, I'm glad.
Yeah. It's just not as much going on. And yeah, it was just a slower week, at least for me too at work. And I know people are probably not in the office making all these big decisions during the holidays. But today's topic, we really wanted to dive into just our initial thoughts, right? So I'm sure we'll do another episode as we get more information around Celebration Key, as we learn more, right? Because right now we're kind of going based off of what's posted on the website, what Carnival's kind of mentioned. I know there's still things that are planned to come later, right? So they are doing like a phased approach. So there will be certain things that are coming out on day one, and there will be more and more released, in the future years. But for those that are listening that are like, what is, Celebration Key? It is their new private destination that's opening July of 2025 in Grand Bahama. So it's attached to the Grand Bahama Island. We're going to kind of go through kind of what they call their key portals, right? So neighborhoods, you can call them like zones, whatever, but they're kind of like their key, neighborhoods or areas around Celebration Key that are kind of themed and have kind of a different purpose. So when you're planning your day for Celebration Key, you kind of look at these different areas and where you want to kind of post up for the day, honestly, like what interests you, what's your vibe? Are you with kids? Are you with all adults? Are you looking to drink party or just kind of sit by the pool or the beach? But a couple big things just before we go through all these, different portals, a couple of big things, right? So one, that the food options, right, Michael? So like you're going to have over 30 different food options, which we'll kind of talk about. But, food is supposed to be, how are they doing in terms of food? Is it all included? Can you eat as much as you want? How are they planning on structuring the food on the island?
Yeah, Frank. So when you look at some of their other private islands like Half Moon Cay, it's like a lot of other private islands out there, they do a beach buffet, right? So it's all you can eat. I mean, you're getting your things like jerk chicken, burgers, hot dogs, all your different sides. Celebration Key, they're changing it up. So they're going to have a couple different food options from full-service restaurants, quick-service restaurants, snack shacks, food truck areas, a food hall, and little food carts around the island. Now, it's not going to be all you can eat, right? So this is, I think, the two big questions from when it was first announced to when they were starting to announce the portals was, one, what did your food look like on the island? And same, what does your drinks look like on the island, right? Because you look at Coco Cay and Labadee and some of Royals Islands and how you can use your drink packages on the island.
And MSC, right? You can use your drink packages on the island for MSC.
On Ocean Cay with MSC. Whereas with Half Moon Cay, you couldn't. So I think that was kind of the big question is, hey, you're building this brand new destination. Are we going to be able to use our drink package there? So to start off with that, no. Right? They're not allowing drink packages on the island. And really, I mean, you're going to be able to purchase your drinks. I think you can still use your sign and sale card that charges back to the ship. I'm not 100% certain with that. And then when we get down to the portal of the beach club, you can buy what they're calling kind of an open bar option, which is a 10 drink limit kind of package at the beach club. So that's from the drink side of it. From the food side of it, it's not all you can eat. So they're calling it Island Eats. So your sign and sale card is going to get loaded with an Island Eat, and you can use it at many of the different, like I said, quick service restaurants, food trucks, snack shacks, all of that, and get a free meal there or get 25% off any of the sit down full service restaurants. So it's definitely different, right? I don't know another line who's doing things like this right now. I think when we get to our thoughts later, I mean, I have my opinions on this and how I think it may go, how it may not go. I mean, like we said, they're trying something new.
Yeah. I mean, they are a for-profit business, so it makes sense, right? Like, ideally, they're making more money off of every time you go to the island and you have to buy a drink. They're making money off that. So we'll talk about it later. So let's get into the different portals at Celebration Key. So the first one's called Paradise Plaza. Think of this kind of as like your welcome center. You've got the pier, where the ship docks, you walk off. They haven't said too much about like the transit, right? And are they going to have like different, like kind of how Coco Cay, you've got like the golf carts and stuff to take you around the island. Have they mentioned anything about that?
I don't think they have yet. I mean, right now, when the island launches, it's only going to hold 2 XL class ships size-wise. The dock doesn't look that long, so I don't know. I don't think in pictures or anything we've seen anything yet. Okay,
so yeah, this will be where you walk onto the island. I actually saw the kind of overhead. They've got like the colorful shades that similar to like what they have at Coco Cay, which is really cool. And then at the end of it, you can see the sun castle with the slides, and then they've got like an observation deck. But this will be like where they have the music, maybe some Bahamian dancers. They've got like guest services, an excursion center here, kind of like your main kind of entry point to the island. I think they said they'll have like an ice cream shop as well, but pretty cool. This will be kind of like where you come into the island. Everyone will pretty much pass through this to kind of go off to their different other portals, if you will.
And I think one thing to point out, too, like you said, the excursion center is going to be here. So, like we said, this is at Grand Bahama. So you're not out on an island. So there's going to be excursions you can do through the cruise line that are going to take you out of this area, right?
Yeah.
And take you out of here. So you don't have to spend your day here at Celebration Key if you don't want to. But like we said, when you have all these portals, I mean, why go spend extra money at this port to go do something when you have all of this right there? So moving on to the next portal we got is the Calypso Lagoon, which they're calling the adult-friendly area. And you're going to have, part of the beach here is going to be adult-friendly, the pool. You're going to have sports courts, cabanas. They're promoting these bars at, like, these swings.
Oh, yeah.
I think they said there's over, like, between all the swim-up bars, like 100 little rope swings you can
That's pretty
sit
cool.
on while having your drink. So hopefully people don't drink too much and fall off of these things. But right now it seems like a cool idea. And then in the adult-friendly area, this is where it gets a little confusing. There's also going to be an adult-only area of this area, right? So it's like,
okay,
can kids go to the adult-friendly area?
Yes.
I would think. But I think just the activities here are going to be more tailored for adults than families. But like I said, in this area, you're going to also have the adults-only area, which has its own swim-up bar, a DJ there playing music.
And that's all included for right now? They haven't said it's going to be extra?
Yeah, all of this is included. So the only thing that's going to be extra later will be the beach club we talk about.
Okay.
Like I said, the DJ will be here, exclusive area on the beach that'll be adults only. And then they've announced 2 of the full-service restaurants will also be in this portal.
Okay, cool. The next portal that we have is the Starfish Lagoon. So think of this as like your family-friendly area. You're going to have a lagoon and beach. I'm talking like this whole pool lagoon is like massive. I don't know how many gallons of water. I don't know if I've seen anything like that.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely massive. I mean, it's got to be the largest pool in the Caribbean. I mean, there's no way. But this will have a lagoon, beach, splash pad with a shallow pool. Think of like for your little kids. There'll be like a little game pavilion with volleyball, basketball, pickleball, which is really cool. Glad they're adding pickleball. They'll have a swim-up bar as well with some floating, like they're calling them like aquabanas, like little cabanas. And they'll have food trucks here as well as some restaurants. So this is going to be, again, if you've got kids, you're going to want to hang out in the Starfish Lagoon for sure. Because, I mean, sounds like a really perfect day, honestly.
Yeah.
Perfect day. Speaking of perfect day, do you think they're going to have a song? Celebrate. Oh, wait, what about that? Celebrate good times. Uh-huh. Dun, dun, dun,
the
dun,
DJ will
dun,
be playing that
dun,
a couple times a day.
They got to like do like a remix, kind of like Coco. They got to have the song.
All right, the next portal we got is the Pearl Cove Beach Club. Now, this area is exclusively adults only, right? And they're calling it luxury to the next level. So here you're going to have your own private beach area, a massive infinity pool. I forget if a DJ is here or not too. But then elevated dining, which will also include some poolside and beachside service being brought out to you. Not like I said, there's not too much more announced to this area yet. Like we said, that drink package, right? The open bar is going to apply here on the island. You get your 10 drinks. It doesn't work anywhere else on the island.
Do you have to pay extra for that? Or is that part of the Pearl Cove Beach Club entry?
So that's an add-on. So, right, so they're going to have different levels to this. You could have some, I think your basic is kind of just your admission and like a welcome drink. You're going to have some where you can add, like I said, the 10 plus drinks. I think they have one where it adds the 10 plus and maybe some of the elevated dining. From what I've seen, the pricing for this is up there. I mean,
what are they listing it as?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, I think it kind of compares to the Coco Beach Club.
Yeah. It's like 100 to 150 probably per person.
Yeah, and I think like to add on the 10 drinks, it may be like an extra 100, so like $10 or so a drink.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know. This is open to book for people who are sailing here next year. So I think it's probably open for all the sailings next year. You can go in, you can book your stay here at the adults only area. You can book your drink add-ons. This is one area I'm kind of just excited to see what the feedback is, right? I think that's one thing I'm excited for. A lot of the islands, just to see videos come out and people's actual feedback on it, to see how some of these things end up working. Because like we said, this beach club, while Royal has 2 different beach club areas now at Coco Cay, this is their first. So it'll be interesting to see what the reception is.
Yeah, I just got done at the adults only beach club, and I think it is a good, cool thing to do to like get away from the crowds. I'm hoping, I don't know if Carnival's talked about like the crowd control, but it's not. It's like if you're going to spend that kind of money in luxury to the next level, like they're calling it, you kind of want something that's not as crowded, a little bit upscale, whether it's like the pools are nicer, it's maybe not as party scene. I would imagine they're not maybe gonna have a DJ. It'll probably be like more serene and like beautiful rather than like party. But I mean, a lot of people are gonna want to pay for this because it's just getting away from the crowds. Typically cruises, you're around people all the time. The beach club is a nice way to kind of like get that private beach and feel like you have a lot of space to yourself. So our last portal that we're going to discuss today is the Lacono Cove. This is supposed to be called, like they're calling like their colorful showcase of Bohemian culture. So think of like their straw market area where they've got vendors and artists and your duty-free jewelry store, which is definitely different than Coco Cay. Like they don't have like a duty-free jewelry store like that. So maybe that's a benefit of being like part of the Grand Bahama Island or something. But yeah, it's really nice. You can go get, if you forget a towel or you want like a t-shirt or anything like that, that's Bahamian and maybe even something that's like, feels kind of local. You can go shop and maybe negotiate a little bit. You can kind of get them down on prices and go explore and kind of see some of the Bahamian culture here at the shops.
I forget, does Coco Cay have a little shop area?
Yeah, they have like a straw market, but they don't. It's not like the same as like going to Nassau Straw Market.
Yeah, I feel like I just haven't walked to that part of the island there because even when I was at Ocean Cay has, I think, at least 3 or 4 like indoor stores you can go in and, like I said, get all different types of goods from souvenirs that were Ocean Cay specific to, I think maybe a jewelry store and some of that. I forget.
Oh, that's cool.
All right, now moving on from the portals, Frank, to food.
My favorite thing.
Yep, always our favorite thing to talk about here. Like we said, Celebration Key is going to have 30 different venues to enjoy different food and beverages.
That's a lot.
So they're obviously counting all the different bars into this number. But like we said, they're breaking it down between full-service restaurants, fast casual, some of their food trucks, snack shacks, bars, tons of all different experiences all across the island where if you want to go sit down at a restaurant, you can go sit down and have a full-service meal. If you just want to grab something quick at the snack shack and a little grab and go and take it back out at the beach, you can. So I
like that. I actually do like that. I mean, I do wish like you can kind of try multiple things and not have to pay extra, but I like the fact that, they've got some different options, right? Like I know like Coco Cay, for an example, they only have like 1 or 2 full service restaurants where this seems like they've got a lot more options. It's either snack shacks or buffet or I guess like the one sit down restaurant at Coco Cay, but this seems like a better list of options, honestly.
Yeah, so we're just going to kind of breeze through some of the different food varieties they're going to have. So kind of starting with the full-service restaurants, you have Mingo's Tropical Bar and Kitchen, and this is going to be a lagoon-side restaurant that serves things like fried fish, conch fritters, tacos, steaks, burgers, and more. You have the Surf and Sauce Barbecue and Brews, which is going to be a smoked meat.
You think they're going to do the Carnival, like how like Celebration has their own brews? Are they going to bring that to the island, you think?
So I know they said for this, they're going to have local Bohemian beer here.
Okay.
So yeah. That was another thing I was wondering. We were talking about the coffee shop earlier at the front portal. Like, I wonder if it's going to be Java Blue, which is Carnival's like branded coffee, or if it's going to be something completely different. Because the Surf and Sauce Barbecue and Brews, I mean, you look at all their ships, they have Guy's Smoke Shop on all the ships. So different brand. It'll be interesting to see how much of the food's similar, different from that side of things. And then your other 2 full-service restaurants, you got Gill's Grill, which is going to have some seafood baskets, along with chicken, burgers, and kids' meals. And then the Pearl Cove Beach Club restaurant, which I don't think they've named yet, but is going to have kind of, an elevated menu and a nice bar and lounge area.
So let's talk about fast casual now, right? So Captain Galley's Food Hall is going to have 5 different counters and a full bar, which is really cool. It's going to have food ranging from pizza, tacos, cold drinks, probably maybe even some barbecue and stuff like that, like beach barbecue, hot dogs, burgers, kind of things.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mingo's Express, which is kind of like an express version of their full service restaurant as well. You've got the Food Truck Plaza, which is going to have a couple of food truck options with the beachside classics and then the local authentic Bohemian food. And then you'll have snack shacks. Wonder where they got that idea from. That's going to have your wraps, salads, and other quick grab and go items as well. And then they're also going to have food carts kind of sporadically around the island. So you're not going to go hungry. There's going to be food everywhere. Again, just to reiterate what Michael said, the food will not be all you can eat. You'll have 1 free meal at a fast casual restaurant, snack shack, or food truck. And then if you do want to do a full service meal at like a restaurant, that is a 25% off. Kind of like you swipe your card and you get 25% off and the rest will go on your account. Again, we don't know the pricing on like how much those restaurants are going to cost. Or is it like $100 meal for two, or is it like $50? We don't have any prices on that quite yet. But again, that's a lot of different food options, which is really, really cool to, sprinkle in different, you can really just like go each time and have completely different food. It kind of makes it so you want to go back to Celebration Key and try new food every time. In terms of attractions, I know that that's probably like what you guys are thinking, and we're like, should we include this or not? That's pretty much, a lot of the attractions and kind of like their things with the water slides and, zip lines and all that is going to be part of a phase 2 for Celebration Key. So they are doing like a phased rollout. Pretty much on day one, everything that we talked about will be included, right? So you got your pools, you got some basic slides, and you've got some bars and, basketball, pickleball, that kind of stuff. Yeah. There's not going to be any extra things, right? Like zip lines or a water park or wave pools. It's pretty much going to be just kind of not bare bones, but it's going to be what we talked about, all those things. And then they're going to add on to it, right? So they got a lot of land and they're going to continue to build and bring more of that. And do we have a timeline quite yet on when all that's expected to be done? Or are they still?
For some reason, I'm thinking 2026.
Okay.
Or at least, because I know from the dock side of things, it's going to go from 2 ships to 6 ships.
Oh, wow.
And I'm pretty sure when they add the water park and some of that stuff, it's supposed to double I know they have a lot of room to expand at the end of the day, which I think they can easily, I've heard, double from the current size of it.
Okay, cool. That's actually pretty cool. That'll be 6 ships. That's a massive,
that's
a massive private island. Cool. Well, now we wanted to go through kind of like our thoughts. So Michael, you've been to, several different private islands. You're also our resident Carnival expert. What are you thinking of this? Like, what about this island, excites you? What about this island disappoints you? Give us your thoughts on it.
Yeah, Frank. So when I was sitting down to kind of go over my thoughts leading up to this episode, the first thing I kind of wrote down was I feel like it's kind of the blend of the 2 private islands I've done personally, right? Being Coco Cay and Ocean Cay.
Yeah.
So like we said, you're not going to have all of like the high energy attractions at Coco Cay yet, right? There's no water park yet. There's no zip lines and all that yet. But that's kind of what really makes Coco Cay stand out from Ocean Cay. I loved Ocean Cay, right? If you want just a perfect, quiet beach day, you can have that and go eat at the beach buffet and have food. Your drink plan works there. You can have a great day. But like I said, it's much more chiller than what a day you could have at Coco Cay. Not saying you have to go do all that stuff at Coco Cay, but it's available there. And that's where I kind of feel like right now, Celebration Key is kind of dropped in the middle, right? You have a lot of extra options that you didn't have at Ocean Cay.
With like pools and stuff, right? Like
Yeah, Ocean Cay has no pools or any of that. Right now, there's only one beach buffet there. Like we've talked about Ocean Cay, they're constantly doing construction there too, right? They're adding another beach buffet area. They're adding like a conservation exhibit building type thing. They're building more housing for some of the people that work on the islands. So it's cool that they're continuing to add stuff there, right? Because I think, like we've said, I think that island's only like 5 years old. It's a newer island. But like I said, here, so going back to Celebration Key now, like I said, you're going to have more than Ocean Cay to start, but not as much as Coco Cay yet. But like I said, it's cool that they're already kind of talking about that phase 2 building out to it.
Yeah, Michael, that's a really good point. For some people, Ocean Cay is probably more attractive, right? Like we've talked to some of our clients and they're like, they think that they haven't been to Coco Cay, but they think it kind of feels like Disney World, or it's, maybe a little all in your face, but it can be, right? Like if you're going to do the water park, or you can kind of have a chill day as well, which is good. But let's kind of talk about the food, because that's kind of the thing that stands out to me is 30 venues for food. And I think I mentioned that when we went through the options. It's crazy. Like, any island that has like a private island that has 30 different venues to eat, to me, that shows that they're investing a lot of money, right? Not just, different menus and putting all the time to come up with these creative entrees and stuff, but like structurally to have, 4 different restaurants and multiple buffets and snack shacks and food carts. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of options and planning. And I think that's also going to help with crowd control. That's also going to help, that's also going to make you want to go back to Celebration Key in the future. So to me, I feel like for me, the one thing that really excites me right now for phase 1 of this island is the fact that there are so many different dining options.
Yeah, that's a good point, Frank. And that kind of leads into my next point I had down was I'm kind of just interested to see the whole execution and the reception of the Island Eats program. Because like you said, you go to any other private island for all the different cruise lines out there, and it is all you can eat for the most part from most any island I know. Whereas, like I said, I understand kind of from like a food waste perspective. The lines have kind of been trying to lower that over the years. But I think the thing that kind of stinks here is you like you mentioned before, you're not going to be able to try as much, right? Or you're going to be paying. And like I said, we don't know the prices yet. Like you also mentioned a point, maybe that will be a draw to get people to come back, right? So you can continue to try some of the different things. It's like we said, it's a pretty wide variety. I mean, we've talked Mexican food and tacos. We've talked local Bohemian food. We've talked barbecue. We've talked, I don't think we even had it written down, but I think one of the areas has pizza. Like a bunch of all different foods to try. Like I said, I'm interested in, and we kind of talked before we sat down. Right now, it's just Carnival going here, and it'll be interesting to see if any princess ships ever stop here, or if eventually someday they open it to other lines, and it's like, well, hey, you can come here and pay for the food, but the Carnival people will be the ones that get the free meals on their cards. I don't know, because like I said, you're gonna have dock space to hold 6 ships. It'll be interesting.
That is a lot of ships.
See how it expands here over time.
I think the biggest, like in terms of my thoughts, right, the biggest disappointing factor for me is probably the drink package piece. Just being the fact that like, I feel like you're paying for the drink package. You're on a Carnival island. We've said this before too. So it's like, I don't want to spend too much time on this point, but it's feeling weird that you have to pay extra for your drinks. I mean, even at Half Moon Cay, I'm not really fully understanding. Maybe someone can write in and explain it, but like why at Coco Cay it is included, why at Ocean Cay your drink package works, other islands. But Carnival, I don't know if it's like a cost thing or if it's like a crowd control, like rowdiness thing. They just want to like not let it become too party vibe. I don't know. I'm just curious to understand like the logic and again, the reception of that. Like, will people, spend a lot of money on the island, or will they like go on the ship to grab a drink and then come back off? Like I have no idea how that would look. Like I might go on the ship to like grab a drink and then try to walk off with it or put it in my cup or something, like try to maybe get some beers in a backpack sort of thing. Like see if the night before you can tell the bartender, hey, don't open that beer. Like I'm going to bring it back to I'm going to try to bring it back to the room, give them a couple of dollars and then try to like, you know what I mean? Cause at that point I'd rather do that for free than have to pay $8 to $9 for a beer on the beach.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think like some ports out there, for example, like when we go to Nassau, maybe we get off the ship, walk around a little, and then we go back on for lunch and like spend the rest of the day on there. Or like you said, go grab lunch and a drink and hop back off depending on the port you're in. Whereas here, like you said, you're getting off, you're going to Carnival's island and you're spending your swipe on your food there and all that. But like you said, the drinks aren't. And that's one thing I had written down too, is I wish the drink package worked from the ship to the island. I don't know. Years ago, I swear I heard it was some sort of just like the technology between the two. Because I'm not even sure. Because like I've never been to Half Moon Cay. I don't even know if you swipe your sail and sign card there, or if you just pay like cash, debit, credit card.
But here you're using your card to like get your food.
Exactly. Here you're using your card to get the food, and I'm guessing you'd be able to charge the food if you got extra food back to the card. I don't know. So yeah, this is just other questions we currently have.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's been cool as they've released info over time, but I think there's still some things people are still wondering going into the launch of the island.
And it's like, I guess to the point is like, do you get off the ship just like for less time, just to do like a little beach day, a little swimming, to grab lunch, and then you get back on if you do pay for the drink package? Because you are like wanting to maybe use it or what? I don't know. I think it'll be like, we're going to have to book a cruise next year to try to get here, and we're going to write it off. We're just going to say, hey, listen, we got to do this for research, for our listeners, for our clients, to make sure that we understand, and we'll do a whole other episode on it just to make sure we bring the latest. And
I think just the other odd thing here too is the drink. It's not like Royal where it's unlimited. They're limiting you to 15 drinks. So what's the difference if I'm drinking them out on the beach or if I'm drinking them on the ship? I don't see it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like you said, that is probably one of the other bigger disappointments I have with the island.
But flipping the coin a little bit towards like things that you're excited about, Michael, what was kind of your last thought in terms of this island and kind of what excites you for the future?
Yeah, I think it's just exciting that they've already announced kind of the expansions that are coming to the island. I think it's cool just to see that, they've already invested so much money into the island to kind of create this phase 1 of it, that they're going all in on it and expanding to more. I think I heard there's over like 500 itineraries already going. Like there's most your stops now, I think you're going to see add this like you saw when Royal expanded with Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Yes, I mean, a lot of ships stopped at Coco Cay beforehand, but I think when they did the whole putting millions and millions of dollars into the island, you started to see them increase the number of itineraries that went there. I think you're going to start to see over the years that a lot of the Carnival sailings are going to end up going here too. So,
and the nice thing is they can charge more, right? Because you're getting a beach that they're like, you're going to charge more because people are going to do less excursions. So like we see the same thing for Royal, like the cheaper itineraries are the ones that don't go to Coco Cay. And so as people start getting excited about Celebration Key, they're going to start booking those cruises more. The prices is going to go up, and you're going to see that like it's going to be similar, right? Like people are going to want to pay extra to go here, and that may end up impacting what we're talking about with the drink package. Because I mean, people are gonna be wanting to get that. They're because they're paying more for this itinerary, they're gonna want to include that. So I do feel like some of these things that we're like concerned about may evolve too as people give feedback, as they fill out their surveys at the end of the cruise, and just kind of like tell Carnival what's up. Like, hey, this is how it stacks against the competitors' islands, and it's always like that. Like any cruise line, they do these things, they build islands, but they're always evolving. That's kind of like why we love it so much, right? Like constantly changing and constantly evolving.
Yeah, and then kind of the other thing, like I said, with the extension of the water park that's coming, like I mentioned, I'm a big water park person. I somehow still never been to the one on Coco Cay.
Are we gonna do it in January?
We're not talking about doing it. We're talking about doing Hideaway again. So someday I'll get to Royals too. But yeah, just having that as an option too. I mean, who knows? It's been years and I still haven't done Royals. So who knows? It'll probably be 2032 by the time I do Carnivals. But hey, keep me coming back, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Michael, I think at this point we need to just close up this episode and start looking at cruises for Celebration Key for next year. But no, this was great. Thank you for bringing your knowledge, and we're excited to kind of come back to you guys and talk more about Celebration Key as we get more information in the upcoming months.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Frank. I know it's one of the things I'm most excited for in the cruise industry next year. And like I said, I'm not even booked to go to it yet, but
yet,
that's the key word. But speaking of booking, I mean, if you're interested in booking a cruise with us, last week we were talking about a bunch of the different Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Travel Tuesday deals, and a lot of these deals are running towards the end of the year, right? Into next year, then you'll have wave season and all that. So if you're ready to book, hey, you can fill out the JOT form in our bio or shoot us a text or call us at 704-313-8556. We'd love to pull a quote for you and help you book your dream vacation. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday.